Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for making it here live. If you're tuning in online, thank you so much for joining us as well. I'm going to go ahead and just introduce the entities that are involved with hosting this event today. That would be the WBBC. We are housed inside of the El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. The MWEDC is responsible for this training center. Okay. So they are also part of hosting this event. And lastly, Hello Amigo is so graciously to do this training for y'all this morning. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you a little bit about WBBC first, and then I'll introduce our special guest today, and we should get started soon, okay? So the WBBC, we focus on startups from 0 to 3 years. Okay, we focus on minority, veteran, and small-owned businesses. Okay, for myself and my program director, we do the counseling. Okay, so we do have one-on-one time with clients that would like to start a business or are already running. Okay, we also do trainings such as this training right here. And we provide events for some of y'all. I'm not sure if you were at our last event, but Ms. Roslyn was there. It was Dynamic Women to Women, and it was a wonderful cocktail hour where we had some training on social media as well. Okay, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to come talk to me. We do have another special guest. We have SBA here if you have any questions. We are partnered with SBA as well. Okay, so our partnership is twofold. The WBBC is affiliated with the SBA and with the El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so if Miss Annalisa would just step up, and Miss Michelle is actually the director of the MWEDC. So if you guys have any questions on that, she'll definitely address that for you. So Miss Annalisa is actually an advisory council member for the WBBC. Okay, so she's helped out a lot with the stuff that we got going on. She was also the moderator at our dynamic event. And yeah, without further ado, she's gonna go ahead and get you guys going.
Thank you so much, Madeline and Michelle, for coordinating this and putting this together. We are going to talk about creative social campaigns and strategies for success today. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll go ahead and get started. So hello, amigos. My name's Annalisa Silverstein, and I am the Sociable Account Executive for Hello Amigo. A little bit about me: I graduated from the University of Texas at El Paso 2008 with a degree in marketing. And my background, I was sharing with my coworker earlier, kind of started 10 years ago. So at this point, Facebook was just really used by university students and was starting to expand out. And we were doing research at the time, our senior year, on if businesses are going to start using this as a platform for advertising. Fast forward 10 years later, you almost have to use Facebook and other social media venues, which didn't even exist back then, to share the word of mouth about your business. So through my career, I started out in politics and helped with communication strategies there. And then I went into the nonprofit sector, and now I am working for our creative agency, Hello Amigo. And things that I help our clients do are kind of what we like to start doing is ask questions about what your goals are and assess your strategy according to those goals. So we'll kind of walk you through the process that we use with our clients. So Hello Amigo, we are a creative communications agency out of El Paso, Texas, but we do have clients across the country in Atlanta, Boston, LA, Tucson, DC, across the country, but most of our clients are here in El Paso. So the campaigns that we'll show you, I'll explain where they are to help let you know where their target demographics are. Some things that we do are market research. We do digital campaigns, identity design, websites, and web applications for company. A little bit about Hello Amigo. We named our company this because every conversation starts with a hello, and we create custom communication strategies to get people talking. So as wonderful as all the digital advertising is, it's still important to, talk to your clients and make sure your whole communication strategy is unified from talking to someone face-to-face to your digital platforms. So some things we're going to be talking about are comparing your organic content to paid content and what paid campaigns actually are, building your organic strategy, and leveraging paid content and campaigns. So getting the most bang for your buck when you do invest in these digital campaigns. And we'll talk about how different companies use campaigns to really reach a goal, like to sell a product, to sell tickets, drive people to events, or just spread the brand awareness of their company. So organic versus paid. I don't know if anybody's heard these terminologies before, but we'll go over what the difference are between organic and paid content. So organic content is passive and incidental. Paid campaigns are active and direct. So to give you an example, when you walk into the store, we're going to use the Gap, for example. You walk in, someone says, hello, how are you? Can I help you? What are you looking for today? That's kind of an organic, today we have our striped sweaters on sale, type things like that. A paid campaign, to give that same analogy, would be you walk into the store and they say, oh, we would love for you to buy these new umbrellas we have today or something. It's very direct, and it tells you exactly what you want the consumer to do. So these are two examples we have here of an organic post and a paid post. So it's very important when you're managing your content to do both. But you can kind of tell with the copy here, it's very on the organic post that we have on the left. It's very indirect. They're just kind of showing you the products that they have. You can see how much they are. The copy on here is very, it's very broad, and it talks about Mother Nature. It has a hashtag, and they tag the person in it. So it's just kind of like an awareness. On the post you see to the right, now this is a sponsored ad. So the sponsored ad tells you exactly, there's a call to action. It says shop now. This dress is $40. And you can always tell it's a sponsored post because right underneath the account, it'll say sponsored. So this is kind of the difference. Another example of this is Alaska Airlines. So in Facebook, they have recognized that I like to post on my account about travel or when I'm traveling. And so I got an ad from them. So the one on the right lets me know that I am in El Paso, so they know I live in El Paso, and hey, there's new direct flights to Seattle. So they want to educate me about that in the direct sponsored post. And the one on the left, this one, so say I got very interested because I've just been invited, like this is real. I've been invited to a wedding in Seattle in September, so they may have noticed that too. So I was interested. I clicked on their page to find out more about Alaska Airlines because I really don't know a lot because I usually fly Southwest. And as I scroll down, I see an organic post about that they also fly to Tel Aviv. So that's interesting to me too, because we may also want to go there, maybe in the next 2 years or so. So it's important that their organic posts are recent. They post maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, different things. So more about the company, maybe about their employees, kind of behind the scenes. So I got to learn a little bit more about Alaska Airlines that I didn't know before. So that's kind of your purpose of your organic, is to educate a little bit more about your brand and your business. And then you could tell they captured my attention through the paid campaign. So anytime you do decide to do a paid campaign, there should always be an organic component to it. So just to keep the information relevant and to make sure that, say you invest all this money in a paid campaign and I click on your page and then the most recent post is from like October 2017, I'm going to think like, well, what the heck have you been doing this last year? You know, so that's kind of why it's important to keep things relevant. So now we're going to talk about planning your organic strategy. Some things we do with our company on our own page is we plan out the posts that we're going to do for either the month or the week, and we talk about it as a team. So if you're the social media strategist for your company, don't think you have to just rely on you. It's a good thing to talk about it with your whole team. So that way, if someone in a different department has something coming up, it's planned ahead of time and you can add it to your calendar. So on Monday mornings is when we plan our calendars and we think about different things coming up. So we think, and things that we did in the previous week. So we say, okay, are there any, interesting websites we launched in the last week that we can promote? Or, did we just write a blog that we can post onto our social media accounts this week? Another thing to think about is, are there any events coming up that you want to promote within your company? And this is a good way to, we always encourage collaboration and communication. And so, because that way, if you plan ahead, it gives you enough time to put together the graphics or the photography or think about the copy that the posts are going to need to have, and you're not doing anything like really rushed. So in thinking about your organic content, you want to ask these 5 basic questions. Why are we posting? So is it, what's your goal? So why? Who are we trying to reach? Where are we posting the content? So when we talk about the where, for example, you want to think about what platforms are you going to share it on and which ones make sense for what you're posting. So am I going to put it on my Facebook account and LinkedIn if it's, more of a business type of clientele post, or is it Twitter? Is it more visual? So would I want to put it on Instagram? So think about the where. What are you posting and when are you going to post the content? Because we also like to spread out the posts so people don't feel like they're being bombarded all the time with the same information. You kind of want to sprinkle the information throughout the week. And we'll talk about later on a good timing for that. What is your why? So why are you posting? Do you want to build awareness? Do you want your brand to be more of a name recognition? Do you want to grow your audience? Are you trying to provide information about a certain product or new program that you have? Are you trying to generate leads, getting more people to fill out your contact form on your website? Or do you want to just connect with people and get more feedback from your audience or your clients or people that are interested in your company? Another thing to think about is everyone is not your audience. We hear this a lot. We ask our clients, okay, well, who are you trying to target? And they're like, well, everyone. I want everyone to know about my company, of what I'm selling, and we have to, okay, all right. We like to break it down a little bit more than everyone. And I'll show you 2 examples right now why everyone is not your audience. You have to think about, okay, how old is your audience? What's their gender, education level, income level? Where are they physically? What are their interests? So if I am a contractor and I can only do business in El Paso, you don't want to waste your dollars in Las Cruces or Albuquerque or anywhere outside of where you're able to do business. So that's something that's very important when you're putting together your audience specifications. So here's 2 examples of why everyone is not your audience. So we have 2 brands. The brands on the left is Kickpin. They sell high-end sneakers, like from $300 to $3,000. They sell specifically to sneakerheads, and it's a specialized audience for people who collect rare and limited edition sneakers and streetwear. On the right, we have Gal Fashion, which is a local high-end boutique that primarily sells clothing, shoes, and accessories for women. Again, it's high-end. An average outfit costs about $500 and more in some cases. So they have very specific audiences. In Kickpin, we're looking at a demographic of mainly boys, 13 to say 35 men, boys and men. And then with Gal Fashion, we're looking at women ages, let's say 18 to 45 is the most popular age demographic there. So if another thing with Kickpin is we're also thinking about targeting parents of the teenage boys, because let's be real, they're the ones that are going to buy the shoes for the kids or tell them, here's how you can earn a job to save money to buy your fancy sneakers. With Gal Fashion, we're really hitting a target demographic that are fashionistas, like to shop at Neiman Marcus. They're not into the bargain, sales, but they do have sales on occasion, but it's very high-end, trendy fashion. So not everyone is your audience. Where is your audience? So this is another question you need to think about. Taking your audience into consideration. What network should you use for your audience? So Facebook usually skews older. Instagram leans towards millennials and female. And Snapchat is popular with Generation Z. And I'm going to use this example. We went to a high school event. It was like a career day that they had at the convention center. And so we had our, company table there, and all these 14-year-olds were coming up to our booth. And we were like, oh, okay, if you share this on your social media, you'll get entered to win a poster, one of our graphic design posters. And so they were sharing it. And we're like, oh, okay, it's going to be all over Instagram and Facebook. No, these kids were all like, I want to say 90% of the high school students were on Snapchat. And we really didn't have a huge Snapchat account following, but that day we grew like, let's say 40 Snapchat followers, because all the teenagers were on Snapchat. And we saw that most of them did use Instagram too, but that was just like one way we tested the market. Facebook is also being used by mainly females. Twitter's mainly male. So another thing to think about too is when you're thinking about your content, not posting the exact same words and sentences for each platform. Sometimes you have to adapt it a little bit. according to what platform that you're using. So if you have something that's like really friendly and say more casual on Facebook, you may want to make the language a little bit more professional if you're sharing something on LinkedIn, because it's a more professional type platform. What story are we telling? So there's many ways to share stories on social media. So you can create small videos, you can do GIFs, images. Tutorials are important if you're selling a product and need to show people like how something actually works. You can do giveaways if people, follow your account, and you can do a random selection for a giveaway. If you do a giveaway, we highly suggest that on a later post you show who actually won whatever you gave away and who that person was. You can show real life tutorials or what's happening and behind the scenes. The Perfect Date. So I don't know if you've seen this movie, but they said, I'd have to say the perfect date is April 25th because it's not too hot and it's not too cold, and all you need is a life jacket. So the same goes for posting on your account. You have to think of the date, the time, and all of this. So this is just some data that we collected, and the best time and date to post it's going to be on a Wednesday, actually. And weekdays you're going to see a higher engagement on weekdays versus weekends. Another thing to do is to test morning versus afternoon versus evening. So people will look at their social media in the morning when they have time, at lunchtime, and in the evening, like late, like when it's just them, they finish putting the kids to bed, making dinner, all of that stuff. Those are going to be your AMP times. When you're setting a campaign, you want to make sure that you're not wasting money on times that are like from midnight to 5 in the morning when people are asleep. Like your post could show at that time, but you don't want to waste your money on that time. You want to make sure you're putting your money when people are going to see it. And you can also test this. And you can test what times work better when you set a campaign. You can do a campaign A versus a campaign B and see which time has most engagement. When you're thinking about posting, you want to set standards for the images that you use, the copy that you're posting with the images, and the responses you give when you're interacting with your audience. Loop in your team. So you may have people out on the field taking pictures and things like that. It's important to train people if you're not the only one taking pictures for your company, and kind of set standards and teach them, how to frame a photo and things like that, and make sure that they're clear and they're not fuzzy or action photos. And things that you can do with Facebook and Instagram too is create a custom filter. So anytime you post a photo or something like that, you use the same filter. So once you see all of the posts on your screen, all the pictures look uniform and cohesive. And then think about your copy. Is it going to be playful, personable? What's the voice that your company uses on your website or on your pamphlets or things like that? Something that's really important too is sometimes say you can't take an actual photo of, let's say, rain. So you use stock photography. It's good to either purchase the stock photography or use something that's free for public use, and you're not using an image that another company made, because it could be a competitor, you could get sued or things like that. So you want to make sure everything that you're using you have permission to use, and that it's very high quality. And think about the tone. When you take a photo, look at what's in the background of the photo if you're using it to promote your company. You don't want anyone to like photobomb something silly or have, you know, a policeman in the back or something that people could be like, oh, what's that all about, and question it, you know. So make sure everything has like a nice camera and it's very square. So we'll even show you some examples of some of our posts where we didn't do the best. And so here on the left, we were at our company party and we're like, oh, let's take a photo. And so we didn't bring our professional camera that day. So we just took it on our iPhone, so you can kind of tell the difference. The lighting's a little dark. You can't really see our faces too well. But on the right, we had a class come in, and so we took the picture outside of our office with a professional photo, and you can tell right away, like, the lighting's really good. You can see everybody's faces. It's very square. The people are centered in the middle, and so that's kind of like, if you're like, oh, well, my phone's really great, you know, you can just see a comparison between an iPhone photo and like a high-res photo. So if you are doing a lot of photography on your social media, I would suggest just maybe getting a camera for your office so that all the pictures look consistent and have good lighting and things like that. This is an example of a post that we did where we're going to look at the copy in these two posts. So on the left, we did a casting call, and this one went up right away. Usually we have at least 2 people look at the copy to make sure everything's spelled correctly and everything like that, because, you know, it's out there in the public. And there was a typo. Where is it? We used, or we misspelled, I think it was inquiries. And so you want to make sure anytime you post anything, you have at least one other person look at it, because maybe you've been designing the graphic and you've been looking at it for a long time and it's ready to post. So it's nice to get someone else with a fresh set of eyes to look at something before you put it out there. The post on the right is an example of a post that has like little copy on it, and we did most of the information in the on the part where you can type, and that's going to be what you want to put all the information on about your post, and just leave the graphic with as little copy as possible and explain everything in the bottom portion. And whenever we like to post and we're talking about a client or something like that, we'll tag their account in our copy, and then we'll hashtag whatever the relevant information is. Hashtags, if in case you don't know, they really just help people find information about that specific organization or topic and things like that. And, you know, if we do hashtag El Paso, anybody looking for things in El Paso, they'll find this post. So if, for example, you have a kitchen company and you want people to find out more about your business, you want to put hashtag kitchens, hashtag El Paso, and so that way if people are looking for that, it'll help come up. Okay, so now we're going to talk about paid content and paid campaigns. So whether you're selling tickets or looking to increase your follower count, your campaign should have a clear goal. Unlike organic content, paid campaigns allow you to serve content to a specific audience that's relevant to your brand. With the exception of brand awareness campaigns, you should be able to track progress and define your return on investment with the paid digital campaign. So make sure your goals are very clear. Are you going to want to sell your minimum of at least 15 tickets for an event? Or do you want to add 500 new followers to your account? Do you want to promote a promo code in a campaign and then track it and see, at the end of the campaign, we had 58 users, things like that. So make sure you have clear goals and that you're targeting your specific audience that needs to see the ads to see your trackable results. And think about your defined success. So at the end of the campaign, maybe at the end of the month or the 2 weeks that you run your campaign, think about what those goals are and what you wanted the people to do. So I wanted people to fill out the form on my website. I wanted to get 10 new leads. I wanted to increase the phone calls that we get in our office. So think about what those goals are. And that's how you can structure your campaign off of that. So we're going to go through 4 examples of different paid campaigns that we did for different clients. And so you can kind of see the difference between the different campaigns and what the goals were. So we'll show you one that's brand awareness, an event response campaign, account growth, and recruitment campaign. So types of campaigns. So this one we did for, for Gal Fashion. The fashion industry, they have times where they're really busy, let's say like Christmas, and times where it's kind of like a little bit of a lull, which is in between seasons. So this was an in-between season campaign, and they really wanted to grow brand awareness and name recognition and followers to their account. So we did these digital campaigns. And the client, I shall say, is young, vibrant, edgy. So she let us be really creative with this. She was also having an anniversary party going on, which it was like a private party. So we took advantage of that. And so she invited a celebrity influencer, Sheena Marie, from Vanderpump Rules. I don't know if anyone watches Bravo, but so our client invested in her coming to the store, and she only invited like her clients and things like that to this party to meet Sheena. And we asked our client, hey, can we take advantage of this opportunity and kind of do an influencer campaign? And you can give away 2 tickets to meet Sheena if they like your account and share it with a friend, and do a giveaway that way. And she was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so we were kind of doing a brand awareness campaign, a growth campaign, and influencer, kind of like all in one. So we really wanted to use the most bang of her buck. So in case you're not familiar with influencers, what are they? So influencers can be celebrity, artists, athletes, anyone with a significant following that aligns with your brand and they promote your products. So micro influencers have about 10 to 15,000 followers on their accounts. They can be more local and can be within your demographics. So if you're selling, say, products for moms, you want to make sure your influencer is a mom that has at least 15,000 followers and is talking about your product as if she was using it for her kids. So why do brands use them? They use them to partner and make sure that they have qualities that represent the lifestyle that the brand wants to associate with their product. So if you're Rolex, you're going to pick a really fancy, sophisticated influencer because you want those same types of clients to buy and use those watches. One thing to think about in your campaign and seeing if influencers make sense, you want to also evaluate the cost because most influencers now will actually charge per post or per thing they write on their blog or to attend your event and post from their account. So you want to make sure you have budget for that. And you want to make sure that the deliverables are clear between what they're doing for you and what your expectations are out of them. So, for example, with Sheena, we'll show you here. She has 1 million followers plus because, you know, she's on Bravo and people like to see what she's wearing and doing and things like that. So she posted from her account from Gal Fashion's party and wore Gal Fashion clothes and tagged Gal Fashion when she went to the event. So anyone that's following Sheena is going to say like, oh, I like that outfit. Where can I buy it? And then it tells you Gal Fashion, and then you can purchase or call Gal Fashion if you weren't in El Paso specifically, or if you were in El Paso, you could see exactly where to buy it. And actually, Gal Fashion, she has clients all over the country. So her clients aren't just in El Paso. She can sell through Instagram or ship orders. And she has clients like in LA and Dallas and Houston and Tennessee, all over the country. So that was an example of an influencer campaign. I should also mention, say for something like this, a celebrity appearance influencer, she had to invest like several $1,000s for her to come. But I mean, if you just want something on a mommy blog or something like that, it could be as low as $150 from what we've seen to get influencers to post about your product or program. So that's just the difference between like a huge influencer and like a micro influencer. So going into the next type of campaign, this was for Kickpin, and we did 2 different types of digital campaigns here. One was an event campaign. So that's the one on the left. They do pop-ups. So their store, you can't go in every day. They're only open once a month. So we have to heavily target their certain demographic, which are teenagers, and do it within like 2 to 3 weeks of their pop-up because they're only open on the weekends once a month. So we will run those event campaigns here. And then they did a brand awareness campaign. So they also wanted to grow their followers. So when we first met with them, they had 18,000 followers, and now they have 20,000 followers. And so we would help them create content to just help people get the name brand recognition in the sneaker world. So we were targeting mostly El Paso people or in the region that would come and physically shop at their pop-up shop, but they were also selling their shoes online. So we could target people that were specific sneakerheads all over the country, but it was a high amount of people like in Chicago and LA and Dallas and Houston and New York, because there's certain sneakerhead stores that they wanted to compete with. So when we did those campaigns, we would drive people, they would see the shoes, and then we would say, okay, click here and shop on kickpin.com. So that was a very direct call to action, and or to follow their account. So we had 2. So you could shop online or just follow them on Kickpin to see what shoes they have available. And with those, it's very important too to be very targeted with their audience because they didn't carry all shoe sizes. So it would be like, here's this pair of Yeezys that's a size 10 that's, what ran a limited quantity of or something like that. So you had to make sure you fell within that criteria if you really wanted to buy those pairs of shoes. Okay, so the next campaign is a campaign we did for Bien Vivir Senior Health. So their main goal was kind of twofold. They had to generate leads on their contact form, and they also wanted to make sure people knew that they weren't an assisted living center or a nursing home, because a bunch of people thought they were a nursing home, and they're like, no, we're your healthcare by day and then you go home at night. So we ran our campaigns according to those different messages. And with senior healthcare, you would think, okay, well, seniors are your target demographic here, right? It's senior healthcare. Well, no, actually, the demographic are their kids that are making decisions and helping them take care of, whatever they need. So we did a little research on who their audience would be and found that it was mainly women from the ages of 40 to 65 that would be making these decisions for their parents. So we ran these campaigns primarily on Facebook, and we even did some YouTube videos too. And we did display ads on Google. So if people thought, oh, I want, if they're Googling senior healthcare or something like that, the ad would come up. So this campaign actually generated, at least in 1 month, 40 new leads. And you want to think, when you're thinking about leads, you want to get quality leads. So that's how the digital campaigns can help you get quality leads, because we're targeting that specific demographic. So people that are, need low income senior health, that, qualify, because you had to qualify for the program. And it's not just like random, because you can get, let's say, 100 leads, but maybe 60 of them aren't even within your demographic or wouldn't qualify, and you've just spent a bunch of staff time, talking to these people, finding out that they don't qualify. So in doing these campaigns, you make sure that you're getting quality leads out of that too. The last campaign we'll talk about today is going to be one for a children's asthma study that's being done out of the University of Arizona. So this campaign is actually a national campaign. So the University of Arizona is doing this study, Boston Children's, National Children's in DC, a children's hospital in St. Louis. They've expanded to Oakland and North Carolina. So there's about like 8 different major metro cities that are running this campaign. But what we found out is we can't just use the same ad for every single site. We had to think about the copy. And when we first ran the campaign, we didn't put the logo of the children's hospital. We just put Orbix, which was the name of the prebiotic that was being tested with kids. And we found out that there was more trust and people were more willing to sign up if they saw the name of the hospital on the ad. And so that's what's really nice about digital campaigns, is if you see something's not working, switch up the artwork and you can do it in a second and then just replace the ad right away. You don't have to wait, like you would if you did a billboard. You have to wait for that whole month to be done to change out the artwork. With digital, you can change it right away. And so what we did for each of these ads is we put the university that was conducting the study. With this, the demographic was very specific. So it was young moms, and their kids had to be between 5 months and 17 months to do the study. So it was very, very, very specific. And then it was also bilingual. So if I think in Tucson and in New York, we would use the bilingual ads because there's a high population of people that spoke Spanish in those areas. So you're able to kind of see what works on the fly. And with this one, we actually hired mommy bloggers as our influencers, and we had the mommy bloggers in the different cities write about the campaign so that it gained more trust with you know, the moms in the area. And moms in the area may be reading the mom blogs, you know, to find out developmental stages. Like, is it normal for my kid to have eczema at 3 months or whatever? And if a mom says, oh yeah, you know, my child went through that, no problem. You know what, there's this great study you should look at from the University of Arizona. Here it is. You know, that seems like more organic, more green than if you have this like advertising agency telling you to do this. So that's kind of where we used mommies to give the information that we were trying to get out. So planning your budget. In planning your digital campaign, you need to put aside some money as if you were going to put an ad in the newspaper or any other traditional mediums. You want to put aside some money for your digital campaign. What we have found is like a good return on your investment for a small campaign would be about $500 a month. Now, if you want to hire a professional to do this for you, you need to also put aside for money for them to manage your campaign, and that's like doing the graphics and setting the campaigns up and monitoring it every day and switching out graphics if you need to, or responding to ad comments and things like that. And like I mentioned earlier, the influencer fee kind of bottom is $150 and up. You may think it may come off like influencers don't charge and they just want to do it out of the goodness of their heart, but actually no, they always charge something. So whether it's $50, $100, see what they charge, ask them, and make sure there's some sort of contract so you know what they're going to do for you. Are boosted posts effective? So if you run a page for your company and you just posted something, Facebook will make you a little automatic like campaign preview of a campaign, and they're like, oh, you know, for $50 we can boost this post for you, and they kind of, you know, give you a preview of what that ad would look like. It's intimidating, so you just want to make sure that you set a campaign on your own and you don't do these boosts, because sometimes boosts are just paying for likes, and they're just targeting people that already like your campaign, that aren't maybe in your specific target demographic, and it may not be a part of your goal. So it's kind of, we think it's a waste of money. So we wrote a blog about it on our website. You can read more about that. But just be careful and don't waste all your money on boosted posts. And know that likes don't always mean that you're gonna that's a conversion or that you're gonna get new business off of it, because kind of look at who's liking it. I shared a story earlier that when we had our we used to have a different account for our company, and that's when, you know, the whole having a page for your business was just starting, and you could purchase likes, but that's not good either, because when you purchase likes, you're not necessarily getting the audience you want. I mean, they could be people in a different country that aren't even interested in what I have to offer, but they like my page, you know? So don't waste your money on that either. Make sure that people that, you know, that are liking, that are clicking, that are engaging are within your target demographic. So to wrap it up, I hope you came away with knowing the difference between organic content, which is the day-to-day posts, and the paid content, which are the campaigns that you use to achieve a particular goal. And that when you're thinking of your content, you're educating your audience on who, where, what, and when as part of your organic strategy, and that paid content and campaigns help you achieve different goals, and that it also helps you see what you should focus on in the future. Awesome. So thank you. Now we'll go on to the question and answer portion of the presentation. Does anyone have a question here in the in-person presentation?
Was the software, the videos that you were showing, are they legit, or are they with software platforms being used for the project?
Okay, so the question that we had in the class presentation was what software we use and if they are GIFs. Yes, they are GIFs that we create with our design program. So when we're designing the ads, we also like to make a little animated format of the ad too when we're doing the campaigns, because you want to make things interactive and grab people's attention. Great question. Any other questions? Had anybody heard the difference between organic and paid campaigns before? No, a little bit. Half say yes, half say no.
I have not, but you will give a really good description of the differences, so I thought that was really interesting. I really appreciate learning about that. So very good details in regards to the organic.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Is there a reason why Wednesday was they used to was that best engagement?
Yes. So in the class, they asked if Wednesday was a better day. Wednesday's the best because that's the middle of the week, and so I don't know if you notice it at work, but Mondays are like full of meetings and you're really not at your computer a lot, and like Tuesdays you're still meeting with people, and then Wednesdays it kind of is like a lull, a little bit of a lull. So sometimes that's the day when you have more time, say as a consumer, to check your social media accounts throughout the day. Things are kind of a lull, and then Thursday people are starting to plan for the weekends, and Friday it's like, I'm not even in the office, see you, I'm going on vacation to go camping or something over the weekend. I want to be disconnected from all technology. So several studies have said Wednesdays are a good day to get people's attention. And then Wednesdays are good too, because if you are doing some sort of big event that happens on the weekends, that's a good day to remind people, hey, this is coming up, or buy your ticket, or things like that. Has anybody done any paid campaigns? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. We've also had a very good example of an event here in town, the Sun Bowl, which is the football game on New Year's Eve. We had, the client was the Sun Bowl Association, and they had a small amount to use, and they really needed to sell tickets. They still had a bunch of tickets to sell, so we just did a week-and-a-half campaign focused on selling tickets, and they saw the return on investment like very quickly. And we just targeted people that were in El Paso that liked football, or liked, said that were fans of the certain teams. And I mean, that one was just like a quick one that really did its job. The goal was to sell tickets. It hit its goal, and then they made money and some after that. Because they were able to sell the tickets that they needed to sell. So that was just another example of a successful digital campaign. Mm-hmm.
As an agency, how do you do it in person? You also do campaigns? How do you go about getting rid
So we just had a question asked how we go about marketing ourselves and getting clients as an agency. So we actually do a mix of everything. You know, we hosted an event for our clients. So that was like an in-person. We have meetings. We do word of mouth from our clients that refer us to other clients. We do digital campaigns ourselves to promote people. So we do digital campaigns, you know, and we do a lot of the Google ads too, where people are searching, you know, people that do websites or advertising or things like that. We make sure to invest some digital dollars in that, so that way people see our name, see our website, go to our landing page, fill out our contact form, or just call us. Calling is another way you can track success by doing a unique phone number, and if they call that phone number, that's another way you can track it.
Who's your demographic and how do you
For our company, we just had a question say, who's our demographic and how do we find it? So what we did with our company is we did evaluated our clients, and we broke it down into different industries, and we looked at where they were geographically, and we said, okay, what are the types of clients we want to get? Are they similar to our current clients, or do we want to try to compete with other agencies in different markets? So by evaluating who our current clients were, that's how we came up with our demographics for our digital campaign. I have a question from Diana. She's asking, will we be sharing our presentation with them? And we can, and we'll send it to the Women's Business Border Center, and they can share it with everybody.
I'd like to just piggyback from some of the questions that was previously asked. So I know businesses all have a different type of audience, but in regards to your business, what has been the most successful platform for you? Is it the outreach, the person to person? Is it the Facebook? Is it Instagram? I mean, specifically, because it sounds like you're keeping track of data, and I understand that is extremely important. So what has been most successful?
So the question came in, what platform has been successful for our company? What's been successful is the word of mouth referral from other clients, but I will also say Instagram, because it's very visual, has been successful since we just rebranded our company and we did a new Instagram, and we've been posting more of our work. So for an agency, that's very important that you show your designs, you show the work that you do. So I would say Instagram. We get a lot of people from Instagram, some from Facebook. We're starting to do a little bit more LinkedIn now and sharing our blogs on LinkedIn, because that's where you'll see professionals and things like that. But we're seeing a high amount of engagement on our Instagram account. I think because of the nature of the business, we're very visual, and so that's where I think we've found some success.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could just add one comment to all the businesses that are here as a consumer audience, I love that you mentioned what story. So I love the behind the scenes photos that you post. I just love to go behind the scenes of businesses. I think as a consumer, we look at that particular audience. It's so important. I think that's kind of what you're keeping on right now. Behind the scenes photos is just huge. Result. It's just following those things on. It's very much exciting to the consumers. Just thought I'd share.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, behind the scenes, incorporating that into your content is really important, especially if you're a service agency, because you have to prove why you charge what you charge, and people may not see the long hours it takes to put together something. As a creative agency, it takes several hours to create a pretty ad or to do the photo shoot. to get the pictures for the ads and things like that. So it just shows the added value that your company provides. All right.